Now it's time to discuss some of the biggest stories of the day. Right now, we're joined by Congressman from Pennsylvania, Scott Perry. Good to have you back.
Great to be here.
All right, let's get to it. Well, a tragic story, unfortunately, to start with. Seemingly could happen at any strip mall, even one in our area. The murders of those military members at a recruiting center in Tennessee. It's not the first time that a recruiting center has been targeted. What should we do there? Should those folks be armed? What do you think?
In my opinion, I think we should allow them to arm themselves. They are trained. They're in the military. I mean, they're trained to defend our Constitution and our country. With their lives and with arms if necessary, but yet when they're in their offices, so to speak, they're not allowed to arm themselves. And that seems very counterintuitive. We were told this was going to happen. We were warned. As a matter of fact, it's happened in the past. Yeah. And we were told they're going to come after uniformed service members in our country, and yet we've done very little, if nothing, about it.
You mean their own weapons then, not service weapons?
Right. Okay. Allow them to arm themselves. Okay. I'm not saying we need to have them having an M16 or an M4 in the office, but if you allow them to do what every other American citizen can do legally, then they should be good.
All right, on to a more traditional problem now. How about the Middle East? I mean, this Iran nuclear deal has everyone talking. How many pages is it?
I think it's 182. I'm not quite complete, but I'm working my way through it.
You're getting through it. I mean, a lot of Republicans in Congress are against this for a number of reasons. What's your biggest concern when after looking through it?
One of my biggest concerns is complete, as far as I can see, complete relief of all sanctions whatsoever in banking, shipping, petrochemicals, everything, weapons, everything, regardless of their terrorist activity, and disregard their nuclear activity. As a matter of fact, the way I see it, we went from saying, no, you can't have this, to we will literally help you get it. We will help them procure the material if they can't find it
in
themselves
10 years,
on the market.
or what do you mean? In 10 years?
Currently. As soon as the deal's done, allegedly for research and those type of things. But they'll use it for whatever they want to. No American inspectors, because you have to have diplomatic relations, so that's a problem for me. And then we don't know right now, I don't know the makeup of the council, but if it has Russians or Chinese on it to make determinations and decisions, guess how that vote's going to go?
Okay, so I can tell you're against this, all right? But what can Congress really do? I mean, we've seen how these negotiations go with the president at the top, and our allies have already signed on for this as well.
Well, I think our allies have signed on because America has said we want to do this, and we're pushing them so stridently. So Congress can override the president's veto. We can first of all resolve to say, no, this is a bad deal. If he vetoes it, we can override the veto and go back to the table. We've been given the story that it's a binary choice. It's either this agreement or war. When it's sanctions that brought Iran to the table, sanctions that the administration disagreed with and didn't want to impose. To me, we should impose heavier sanctions. The administration hasn't done anything to increase or maintain the sanctions with our international partners.
This is the best you're going to get. You know, if this is better than nothing. There's no perfect deal out there.
There is no perfect deal, but saying that we're going to have a nuclear-armed terrorist state within 2 years or within 10 years is not something I want or America wants.
I think you got a lot of agreement on that. All right, let's move on to Donald Trump. You know, he has backtracked a little bit, but basically said that John McCain is not a war hero because he got captured. Now, he said they're all war heroes, but now he's trying to pivot and say it's more about he hasn't done enough for veterans. Either way, you are a veteran. When you hear that someone esteemed as John McCain is being called not a war hero, what comes to mind for you?
Listen, there are a lot of things that I disagree with John McCain on politically, policy-wise. There's probably plenty on Donald Trump's plate that I disagree with as well. The man served his country, was captured, and was tortured, and he bears the scars of it every single day. I just think that the comments were beyond the pale and inappropriate. If you want to criticize his policy positions and so on, I think that's fair game. But his service, the man did what was asked of him for his country.
It is so early. There's been no votes in a primary, no votes in a caucus, but he leads the polls. Donald Trump is right now ahead for the Republican nomination. Can you really envision him getting the nomination for your party? President Donald Trump.
I have a difficulty envisioning that, but I would also say if you see him as a radical, kind of more on the right person, the most radical left-wing person in the United States Senate, and maybe ever won the presidency the last 2 times. Why is that out of the realm of possibility?
So you're saying it's possible?
I think it is possible.
How about